Hello, everybody. Welcome to Two Movies. Nope.
Two movies.
Two guys and some movies.
Yeah.
I'm never going to get it right.
Formerly known as
Reels. Exactly. There
and
we
still
go.
has the Reels logo.
Yeah. I'm Derek. This is Dakota. We will be talking about Melancholia today, the first Hobbit movie, Unexpected Journey, and Godzilla Minus One. Yeah, Godzilla Minus One, which I'm very excited to talk about.
Yeah.
All right, we're just going to jump straight into the news today. And we're going to talk about Godzilla's box office, because this is kind of crazy. It is the #1 Japanese language film to ever release in America. And it is the second for a foreign language at all for a live action movie.
Dang.
That's crazy, isn't it?
What was #1 foreign language?
Yes.
#1 live Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Hero. You were close.
Dang.
Yeah, you were close.
Hero, is that the Jet Li one?
Yeah.
Where he's on the roof with the spears?
Yeah, and he's dipping his sword in the lake and keeping up.
I thought that was in Crouching Tiger.
No, that's Hero.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the movie's good.
It was good. Wasn't the box office so good that they're like extending the U.S. release? Like they're putting it in more theaters and for like another week or two?
I didn't see that, but so it made more movie over here than Shin Godzilla did.
Money.
Yeah, what did I say?
Movie.
But in Japan, it made a lot less than Shin Godzilla because Shin Godzilla was made for the younger crowd in Japan. It's a very that movie is kind of like an attack on how the older Japanese generation hold honor in such high regard, and how it's like a battle over there between generations.
Yeah, you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that is like the older honor aspect of Japan is like what Americans who really like Japan. That's what, at least because I'm one of those people. I've been to Japan and everything.
Weeb.
Yeah, like that's like one of the things that fascinates me about it is those older ways. Like I like that way of thinking that they have.
Yeah.
But I know I don't live there, so I don't know that aspect of it. But like that's one of the like the ways of the samurai and the honor and everything is like it's so interesting to me. So like, that's why I like that. So it's funny that they're like anti.
Yeah, because this movie is very. I mean, it is about honor. Godzilla Minus One.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it is going back to World War II, and I know post-war Japan, there was a lot of bullshit, like, with the people, and they all really didn't like their government and things like that. So I think that the younger generation just didn't want Godzilla to be back there. They just wanted to stay in Shin Godzilla. And, like, it made significantly less money. Like, Shin Godzilla made over $100 million over there total, I guess. But, like, the first week it was, like 60 of it.
Dang.
And this one only made, like, 20.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But I think that because it's overseas box office numbers, it'll still get a sequel. This one will.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got more people to go see it over here, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
Japan is literally just one state of the United States.
And they, I mean, the whole reason they did this more traditional Godzilla was so that they could build a cinematic universe. They said that before.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty cool. Maleficent 3 was confirmed. It's crazy.
That's out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it. I didn't even read that at all.
It's like maybe I misread and it was just like basically confirmed, but like so many outlets were covering it that it's essentially confirmed if it is not 100% confirmed. But I haven't even seen the second one.
Oh, the second one's good.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought that
It's not as good as the first one, but
I thought the second one kind of bombed, so I can't believe that this is like even getting a sequel, you know?
it might have bombed in that era of Disney days, but now that they're looking at it, they're like, maybe we need to make another one, because if it makes just the same amount of money the second one did, we're doing better than we are now.
That's true. I bet that is something that happened. But yeah, I mean, the first movie was good. It's got a good cast. I mean, so it could be fun. And she's a good character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the last one that I have is Sean Gunn was cast as Maxwell Lord.
Weird. I don't know why they give him so much. Not Sean Gunn, but Maxwell Lord. Like he tried him in Wonder Woman. I don't think he works on screen.
And it was crazy. It's like that was like the best, the best case scenario was Wonder Woman 1984.
Really?
I think so. Because like, if I mean, he's basically Lex Luthor.
Yeah, but he's not smart.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has like persuasion abilities in the comics, or in at least some version, where like he can just talk you into anything. But even that's not very cool.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if he's gonna be like.
I think he's gonna be in Superman.
Oh, you think? I was wondering if he was gonna be like in Creature Commandos.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think he's gonna be in Superman. I think that because of all the we have other superheroes.
Yeah, Guy Gardner and.
I mean, there's a bunch of people.
Yeah, too many to be honest.
Way too many. I think that he's
unless they're all
up.
cameos. Unless they all just.
I don't think so. So, I mean, maybe I know there's a version of him that he was like more of a good guy. Also, maybe they're doing that. I don't know, but I don't like the casting, and I think putting Sean Gunn into it makes it seem like it's going to be like a comic relief character, you know. And I don't know.
They cast the other dude in the news too. The guy that works with him at the
Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
and a girl that's supposed to work there too. They cast both of them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I am not excited for this movie.
Yeah.
The more news comes out, or like in the casting and all this, and I've seen a rumored like plot line, and it's just
who's the villain?
Terrorism. It's not like a deep plot line, I guess. It's like I know that there's going to be rumors, possibly spoilers for Superman Legacy. There's gonna be a conflict in the Middle East, and Superman is gonna want to go. He wants to go over there and deal with it, but all these other established heroes are like, you can't deal with stuff that's not here, and it's gonna be like that.
Oh, so he's gonna be fighting other heroes probably.
I don't know. Like that's just like what the.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a big bad or if it's going to be more of a heady kind of villain, but it doesn't seem very fun. And apparently a lot of the movie takes place in the Middle East, which is like, how are you going to have a Superman movie that's not going to be in Metropolis?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So, we'll see eventually, I guess, what this fucking movie looks like.
Yeah, at this point, just wait for the trailer, then you can decide, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, then on to the rumors. Margot Robbie and Henry Cavill are reportedly doing some kind of Terminator something. I don't know if it's a reboot, if it's a sequel.
Yeah.
But they are tied to a Terminator project. How do you feel about that?
I'm honestly decently excited. Just because. Well, I don't know. It's gonna be weird not having a Terminator without. Who knows at this point? But they could have Arnold in it. I think having Arnold in it at least as a cameo is important. But or having someone, him or Linda Hamilton, someone cameo is important for the old ones. But I am excited because when you have a movie with Margot Robbie and Henry Cavill, you're just asking to make money.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It seems like if you're casting them, I feel like it's just a straight reboot.
She's gonna play Sarah Connor. He's
gonna be the T-1000 or the T-800
or Reese.
No, maybe. I mean, if they're gonna get him to play Reese, who the fuck's gonna be the freaking robot?
I'm trying to
The
remember.
Rock?
Batista.
Batista. I don't know. I just think that they should stop making Terminator movies.
It could be. He could be John Connor, and then Margot Robbie would be some other character.
Yeah,
That'd be crazy.
that would be. I mean, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm interested in it. I'll just have to wait and see more.
It'll probably never happen, honestly. It's going to be one of those ones that never happens.
I feel like when you put them two in anything, it's just gonna happen. Because if you make it, people are just gonna go see it.
Now, because of Barbie, maybe. But before, not necessarily. She wasn't as a shoo-in as you would think, you know? And the other rumor is that there's... I mean, this is basically confirmed, too, is there's going to be a Ken movie. A Ken spinoff. You know, you don't like that?
Nah, just be done with it. Be done with the Barbie.
After that much money, they're not going to be done with it. Everyone's going to have a spinoff.
Which Ken, though?
They didn't know, it was just Ken.
Because I know Ryan Gosling said that he would only come back if he got to play a certain Ken.
Beach Ken?
No. I forget what he cut. It was a weird one. I never heard of it. It was like, I don't know. It was a weird one. But is it a spin-off show or a movie?
Movie.
That's weird. I feel like when people watch Barbie again, it's going to be drastically worse. It's like a Guardians thing. Your jokes aren't going to hit again as well. Yeah. There are some jokes that will hit every time probably, but not near as many of them.
Yeah, I didn't think it was very funny the first time, honestly.
There were some jokes that were funny.
Yeah.
The Sublime was hilarious. You remember The Sublime?
No.
No, you don't. When Barbie's like asking him to move in or something after he's like taken over Barbie Land, and he goes back and hides behind the pillar, and he just yells "Sublime!" And he comes back acting all cool about it. It's so freaking hilarious. But anyway, that world's just not gonna hit again. It's not gonna be like what it was. Because now that we know what it is, you're not gonna be this like surprised as to how well it was done, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love the Barbie movie as much as most people. Like, it was fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a whole lot of room to go in that world, you know? They did a lot with this movie. So I don't feel like, you know, some movies when you watch it and you're just like, I want more of that world. It doesn't even have to be about these characters. This is not one of those movies.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, they're gonna make probably 3 or 4 movies because of how this
bad idea,
how much money that movie made.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's all I got for rumors. We do have some trailers to talk about, though. We'll go. You want to do the ISS trailer first?
Yeah.
So this is an interesting concept.
That's why I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah. So essentially, the ISS is Russian cosmonauts and American astronauts, and they have a station, a space station that they stay on. And while they're on the space station, basically nuclear war happens on Earth, and both sides get messages from their government to take over the station. That's a fucking good idea.
It is, yeah. It's cool. The trailer's good too because it doesn't show much. We know that they're like clipping wires to turn power off so that people can't open doors, and we know that they're getting in their suits and climbing to other parts of the space station to flank them and stuff. Cool freaking concept. And it's cool because like I don't think I saw a gun in the trailer. They're always just going at each other with like knives and stuff.
You can't have a gun on there because if it goes off, it would go through the hole and everything would die.
Would it? Who knows? Would it really though?
I think maybe. Does a gun shoot in space?
Yes.
Oh, but you would just delete. It would go that way and you'd go that way at the same speed?
No.
Yeah, that's how it works.
No. If the bullet was the same mass as you, yes.
Oh yeah, I guess that's right. That's how science works.
Yeah. I've always you know when this is way off topic, but you know when bullets hit metal and they don't go through it, but they dent it.
Yeah.
What if say my arm was just right up against the metal where a bullet hit, but it didn't go through, and it just hit. You know the things. So I just got hit by the metal at a speed of a bullet.
Right.
What do you think my wound would look like? Wait, but it would just be bruised. You think it would break the? You think it would break skin?
No, I think it'd be a bruise. I think it'd be like getting hit by a rubber bullet.
You think? Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would hurt though.
Because I was watching something with riot shields and like.
I mean, that's essentially what happens with body armor.
I guess.
No,
those are bad bruises. Those are like bam. They're big.
Yeah, they can. I think they can break some ribs if they hit certain ways.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. They're really grounded on it, at least so far in the trailer. They might do some crazy stuff like fly around with a fire extinguisher in gravity, which makes sense though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Usually, when you do a space kind of thriller movie, it's because there's a monster, or it's just you against the elements. It's very rarely this you against other people that you're stuck on a spaceship with.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a teaser for House of the Dragon Season 2. What'd you think about that?
Looks good. Looks like we're getting a lot of dragon action. A lot of action in general. There's a lot of just like war too, like on foot combat.
Yeah, this
is
is
interesting.
It's like it looks like it's because we're in a full-blown civil war now. There's not going to be I don't think there's going to be a lot of politics and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a lot of dragon battles, and like more of like a war strategy kind of bullshit instead of the politics, which is something that they've never really done in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Or if they did do it, it was late season 7, season 8, and it was done shoddy.
Hastily.
Yeah.
There's something interesting is I feel like the players were playing okay. So the players you're playing with in Game of Thrones mainly are not too high up on the food chain. So like they're in the battles. You know what I mean? Like they're in the grime and gritty and doing it. I feel like the players we're playing with in House of Dragons are all like Cersei Lannister. I'm just gonna chill up in my throne while all these other people battle for me.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting because...
Yeah, but they are the dragon riders, so they have to get in there.
Yeah, because if... What's-his-face? The one with the big dragon.
Aemond.
Yeah, if he shows up... Which... If you just get 2 dragons to fight that motherfucker, and just... If the dragons were smart enough and would just attack its wings, you're good to go.
That thing's big.
Yeah, I don't know, but... I'm excited. It's going to be great, I assume.
Yeah.
It really was a teaser trailer. You don't really know what the heck's going on. It's really just a bunch of drama and action.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I do, but...
I don't know where it's heading. I kind of assume... I mean, obviously I know that this is what kills all the dragons, but I don't know how we get there and who ends up on the throne or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Because it's rare that I don't have spoilers.
It's exciting to have I feel like we haven't had a show of that caliber on in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, season 1 ended like over a year ago.
Yeah.
And I just saw, this should have been in the news, I just saw it literally right before I got here. Stranger Things 5, season 5, is starting filming in January. How have you not been filming yet?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I know they were running late on writing or something, but...
Yeah.
I gotta work with David Harbour and Millie Bobby Brown's schedule.
That's true. That does kind of suck. And then the last trailer that I wanted to talk about was Godzilla Kong, The New Empire. Mm-hmm. Which is the official title. It's not Godzilla and Kong or Godzilla Cross Kong.
Godzilla Kong?
Godzilla Kong. It's awful.
Yeah, it's bad.
Godzilla Kong, The New Empire. What'd you think of it?
I think this is going to be the first one of these, like, the newer Godzillas where people are they're getting into too weird of stuff. Like, they were already pushing it with the underground or like the other world in the Middle Earth, and now this whole movie set it seems like it's just all going to be in that.
Yeah.
And I think it's too much for people. They're just going to be taken out of it. They're going to think I think there's a potential for a average viewer to look at this trailer and like, it's getting too weird for me. I'm not going to go watch
Yeah,
it.
Godzilla Kong was silly, and it got weird.
Yeah.
Godzilla versus Kong.
Mm-hmm. But it was silly, but it was also like people are excited about the idea of that.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about this other ape dude.
No.
Whoever he is.
No, and
I read his name once. I don't remember.
Scar King.
Scar, yeah. You don't even have a scar, I don't think.
Well, so another thing is this movie is a Kong sequel. It just has Godzilla in it. It looks like, but
it don't look like Kong's in it either.
Yeah, I mean, Kong is more. It makes more money than Godzilla over here for sure, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Skull Island made more money than every Godzilla movie in this series.
Really?
Yeah, Godzilla King of the Monsters made the least amount of money, and it has the worst reviews.
King of the Monsters.
King of the Monsters.
The best one.
The best one. Yeah.
That's insane.
I know.
King Ghidorah was in that movie.
Yeah, I know.
Who's not excited about that? That's nuts.
It
That
is
is wild to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Understand though. I don't understand about Kong. Like Kong Skull Island when it came out, when it was like advertised, you could just tell it wasn't going to be that good. It was no good, but I can understand. Like Peter Jackson's King Kong's better than all the Godzillas.
I was like the original King Kong and and Peter Jackson's Kong are like, they're fucking amazing movies.
Yeah.
Like they're fucking good movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is it's a Kong sequel. It started out as Son of Kong, and then they realized after Godzilla versus Kong made so much money even during pandemic times, they were like, you gotta put Godzilla in there. And so they shoehorned Godzilla into it, and I just don't know if it's gonna. I just don't think people care about developing, because like this is what people asked for. People asked for a monster movie with limited humans, and that's what this looks like it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It looks like it's gonna be Kong going and looking in the Middle Earth for people for more Kongs, and finding them and realizing that there's an orangutan man has them all slaved up.
Yeah, I heard. I actually read something that Scar is the most intelligent kaiju in the Godzilla verse. So
Yeah,
he might be able to talk even.
I heard that he might be able to talk. Yeah, which is weird, but Godzilla fans are pissed off about this trailer because he's pink, and
Who's pink?
Godzilla.
Oh. I thought for some reason you said King Kong fan.
No, Godzilla. And because we had toy leaks and everything was red. So everyone was hoping that he was going to be red like he has been in the past. And then he's fucking bright pink.
Yeah.
And they're pissed off about that. They're pissed that he's skinny. He's significantly skinnier. If you put it side by side.
His arms look skinnier, but...
Oh, he is thin.
Really?
Yeah. And they are pissed that they move fast. And they're pissed that there's no scale because they're in the Hollow Earth where everything is massive.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like it's basically like watching
Transformers.
Or like it's like Planet of the Apes, basically. Because if there's no scale, it's just a bunch of monkeys running around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know?
That makes sense, yeah.
So people are pissed off about this movie. I think that they're going to lose hardcore fans because of some of this bullshit. And like you said, they're going to lose casual goers because it's just weird.
It is weird. But there's an interesting story. So the fact that if the rumors are true that they went from a Son of Kong movie to this, in the trailer we see presumably, probably Scar's son.
Yeah.
So they're going to kill Scar, and then Kong's going to raise Scar's son.
Yeah.
And which is a cool concept.
It is a cool concept. I think there's potential there for the heart of the story being Kong, because he's ever since Kong Skull Island, he's been looking for family. Like that's his arc through every movie that he's been in. So I think that it is interesting if he finds this family now and like we get to see things, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know what's gonna happen is he's gonna find Scar, and Scar's gonna be like, oh, I found my family now, and Scar's gonna be like, yeah, well, you're working for me now. And he's like, oh no, I ain't. I'm freaking King Kong.
Yeah.
And then that's when things go bad.
Yeah. You know, he's never been called King in this, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I think that he might after this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there are rumors and toy leaks that there is another monster, not a Toho monster, but another monster in it. I think that they're keeping that close to the. I don't think they're going to show it at all, like even in the real trailers. But I think they should, because I think it's going to be dope. It's a big old boy.
But it's not a.
No, it's an original, but he's on 4 legs and he's massive, and he's got ice powers.
Like the mole.
Yeah, like the mole. Oh yeah,
Oh,
that might
tie
tie it
in.
in. Yeah, you're right. Speaking of the mole, let's talk about Monarch.
This is a boring episode.
Oh, you really?
Worst episode.
I really like this episode.
They just didn't do anything. It was like, yeah, we're gonna send you guys home, and then crying and stuff. And then I'm gonna talk to Kurt Russell in the cell, and then that's it. Nothing else happened.
I liked that they went into like, we got to see what ground zero would be for a kaiju attack. You know, it would be quarantined off, and people would try to be sneaking in and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was cool to see the Golden Gate Bridge broken in the background and everything.
Yeah.
And then seeing their housing was cool, like their new housing.
Right.
That they were forced to live in or whatever.
Yeah, so like I like that little. That's just world building bullshit that you don't get time for in the big movies. And even though there was no monsters in this episode, I had a good time. I don't know.
No, I didn't have a bad time. I just think like I don't know. I don't like where the one girl, Kentaro's girlfriend's storyline's going. I think it's just weird. I feel like it's unnecessary. She's gonna be playing a way bigger role than we think.
Yeah, she's got some weird past she's running from. I don't know.
Yeah, and I just feel it's unnecessary at the moment, but yeah.
I'm excited to see
why Kurt Russell ain't aging.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Because like they made it seem like maybe he's not even himself for a second there. Like that's weird. Like what if he's a robot?
Oh,
and we get weird. But yeah, I like the episode. Next episode looks like it's going to be all in the past, which is fun. Well, this one, and the last one were all in the present. The next one looks like it's all in the past.
I don't think I saw previews when I watched the episode for some reason.
Oh, yeah, like it was a.
I might have just turned it off before.
Yeah, it was Young Lee and Kiko at a ball for some reason. Is that her name, Kiko? I think so.
Kimiko?
Maybe?
I don't know. I just watched The Boy in the Hair, and I got a lot of those kinds of names.
The mom.
I will say the scene where right before she goes to talk to Kurt Russell and she plays the projector. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, because they were both looking at her.
Yeah.
And then
he turned
this way and he turned this way, and then their faces matched up. It was good.
I was like, yeah, that's pretty nice. I like that.
Yeah, I did like that too. Did you watch anything else, TV-wise?
I did want to talk about, I watched one episode of Mando, and let me tell you, this is the best Star Wars thing I've seen in 10 years. It was absolutely incredible. It was an episode called The Pirate, and you watched the first season of Mando, right? So Carl Weathers' his character. Now he is like a grand vizier of some town, some town that's not in the
Empire?
Yeah, the new empire, the good empire. And he gets attacked by pirates. And
I love space pirates.
he gets attacked by pirates, and one of the original pilots from the original series, like one of the Asian one who flew with Luke,
Okay.
he's in it, and he's like looking for. He gets contacted to help. He hears the distress signal, goes there, and then he goes to the Empire, and they're like, they're not in our jurisdiction. We can't help. He's like, okay. So what does he do? He's had previous encounters with Mando, so he goes to Mando in his secret base with all of his coven, and then asks all the Mandalorians to help. And because obviously he's real close with Carl Weathers' character, he pleads for them to help, and then they do. And so it's just an army of Mandalorians going and fighting space pirates to save this city. And then in return, they got like a plot of land in the city so they don't have to hide underground anymore. And they're going to be part of the community.
What season is this? 3?
Yeah. And it was so good, and it was so Star Wars-y. It was like the Star Wars... I was like, whoever directed this episode knows Star Wars. And they need to keep them and have them do it all the time. It was not anyone I ever heard of. But it was standout good.
Okay.
Even though that came out probably like a year and a half ago.
Did you watch any? You watched an extra movie, right? Just the one?
Yeah.
Oh, but you're going to save that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk a little bit about it.
Okay.
I won't go into any kind of spoilers or anything. I did watch The Boy and the Heron. It just came out yesterday. Funnily enough, my wife is big. We went because she wanted to go. Big. What am I trying to say? What are they called?
Studio Ghibli?
Studio Ghibli movies. Big fan. We go watch this movie, and I had way more fun watching this movie than she did. She was falling asleep during this movie. She's like, this movie felt so long. It did. It did feel long, but they're all long. They all feel long. Everyone I've watched, I told her that's when I watch them, they all feel long.
Well, like they all, to me, I've never seen a single one. They all look like they don't have a plot. You're just watching animation. You know?
See, if I was getting more in depth, yes, I would talk about that. Because that's how I feel about most of them. Oddly enough, so Miyazaki, this is his final movie. It's his like 4th final movie that he's done. All of the Ghibli movies that we watched, all of my favorite ones are the ones that he didn't do. Which is funny. But I do think it is worth a watch if you're a Ghibli person. I think this is a smarter, more thought-provoking movie than any of the... I haven't seen them all, but out of the ones I have seen, any of the other ones. So, like, I feel like people think, like, oh, you know, Ponyo's all about ocean pollution and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, it is, but it makes the audience feel smart because it's not thrown at your face, kind of. But it kind of is thrown at your face.
Right.
This movie, you could watch this movie and not have a freaking clue. You watch this movie and finish it and not have a clue what it's about. I bet your average viewer has no idea.
Yeah.
And it took me a while. I've been thinking about it. It's a movie I haven't stopped thinking about since I've seen it. And I have some ideas. Even out of the theater, I was like talking to my wife about it, and I was like, there's some. I get some stuff. I get why it happened, but I was like, there's so much stuff I don't have no idea why it happened. And then I saw a little snippet on a TikTok about Miyazaki and why he wrote this movie, and now I know everything about the movie with just that one little hint.
Yeah.
And I think if you won't even understand the movie unless you know that. But the movie is gorgeous, and for most Studio Ghibli movies, I think that's what people
care about.
I don't even know if that's what they care about. I think that's what they perceive, like, just because they're so pretty, they perceive it as good.
Yeah.
Even though there really isn't a story. Like, my favorite Studio Ghibli movie is Nausicaa, and that is like a story. You know, you have a hero on a journey, and they stop like a war and everything. Like it's a real story.
Right.
This doesn't. This doesn't have a story. But I also like that. For some reason in this one, I like that about it.
Yeah, it just when something doesn't have a story, it just depends on if you like the world.
Yeah,
You know?
And this world is good. I'll tell you one thing. The one other property or like story that this movie reminded me the most of is Lost.
Interesting.
Yes.
I love Lost.
Yeah. And I will say the Nahiko is the main boy. He's like a standout main character for a Ghibli movie. He's really quite good. And this is a just like Godzilla, it's a World War II setting Japan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting. All right. On to the rewind, where we watched a movie, Melancholia, which is like what you just described as a Ghibli movie. No story, no substance, all art, really.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
I think I like this movie more, so you can go ahead.
So I clocked that opening 8.5 minutes.
Oh, it's so good, though.
It was so long.
I loved it.
I was like, what are you trying to do? No, see, I didn't like it because when I was watching it, I was like, this dude whoever did this movie was just like, I want to be Stanley Kubrick. And you're not. And you're just not. And you tried too hard. Yeah. Right when because it's like, it's got all that orchestral music playing, and you're watching just these, they are famous paintings that he just recreated in slow motion.
Basically, yeah.
And like some of them were cool, admittedly, but it was just too long. It didn't make sense either.
No, you cold open to these weird random images.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Well, it doesn't make sense even after watching the movie. It ties into one scene, but that scene still doesn't make sense. Why did you... She's freaking nuts.
She's not nuts.
What is she doing with the books?
She's...
Because that's what ties in. There's a scene where she's moving all the books around, and they're all art books.
Yeah.
They show famous artwork, and it's all the artwork that they displayed in the beginning of the movie, or recreated in the beginning of the movie. And that scene just has nothing. It doesn't make any sense. She's just nuts doing whatever she wants to do.
She's just super depressed, and those are speaking to her.
Yeah.
This is going to be a hard one for you to get because you've never dealt with like depression or anxiety, and like maybe a little bit of anxiety, but not like anxiety. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what this movie's obviously about. She is depressed, and her sister has bad anxiety. And when you have depression, the world is weird. Because, like, one day you can lay in bed like she does, all day. And the next day you can get up, you can feel good, and you can be like, wow, this piece of art is beautiful, or this show is really speaking to me, or this movie is moving me, and it means something to you, but it doesn't. And you're happy for that long, and then you're back to being depressed. And I think that, I'm not going to lie, the movie is uneven, and it's weird, and I don't think he knows what he was doing. But, like, I know that he has other movies that consist of a depression trilogy. The first one is The Antichrist, which I didn't want to see, and the last one is Nymphomaniac.
Okay.
You've seen that one? Or...
I've seen bits of it, not
yeah,
the whole thing.
So
Boring.
he pulled these from his own depression in his own life. So like, there's something there that resonates with me, but it doesn't all mesh and create an experience. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And the art is weird, but it's pretty. The movie is pretty.
The movie is pretty, but it's not my style though. I'm not like, I'm like, yeah. I was like, the majority when I was watching it, I was like, the majority of people will think this is pretty, but it's just like not me.
Oh, I love it.
He has this weird aesthetic. It's weird because I think he needs to take it a step farther than what he does because he's giving us like a Kubrick slash like a Wes Anderson style aesthetic on things because it's very painting esque.
Yeah.
But he's still following filmmaking rules, and you have to break those because that's what Wes Anderson and Stanley Kubrick. Not even what they do is they center weight the screen, both of them.
Yeah.
And he never does. They're always on their third, like they're supposed to be. And I'm just like, if you just center weight this, it would be way better for your style.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, well, the movie's just, it's like, and then it starts with a part one Janice or whatever her name is,
Justine.
Justine. Yeah. It never says part two.
Yeah, it did.
It did. I
Yeah.
missed it. But the wedding's weird. It's like you don't know why they're getting married. You can just assume that they're just getting married just to get married.
Well, she shows some signs of manic, like mania. So if you're manic depressive, you have bouts of like really enjoying life, but because you're just like in this frantic state, you make rash decisions like getting married to someone that you barely know, or quitting your job like she does. And like, this is why I say I don't think it all meshes. It's like he wanted to capture all of those feelings that would happen over the course of, a week or so, but he wanted to capture it in an hour. And it doesn't really work. You just think she's fucking crazy, like you said.
Yeah. Well, but then like the quitting her job and stuff, like no one rationally would be at this wedding during this time, 5 days before the world's going to end.
Well, they didn't know.
What do you mean they didn't know?
They didn't know that the world was going to end.
How?
Well, no, they found out, like, no one knew until after the wedding. She saw that the star was blocked because the planet was coming, and like that's when no one knew before that. The wedding was just normal.
No, I figured they all knew.
No, they didn't know. No, they didn't find out until after. And we don't know. We don't know the time frame from after the wedding to the end of the movie. They don't really tell us.
No, because I thought at the wedding they said we have 5 days until the thing.
No?
Well, it's crazy that she quit her job then.
She's just manic. Like that is what a manic person would have done. They just like it's just compulsive. Like her going and having sex with that dude.
Yeah.
Like it's just that's what they do.
All that stuff makes sense if you know the world's gonna end, though. Like that. There's more to this movie than I thought.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
So
I like the sister a lot more.
So yeah, obviously hers is easier to understand because anxiety just feels like the world is crushing you, and it's literal. A planet is literally crushing them. So like, it really makes sense. The depression's a little bit harder, especially because it's manic depressive. It's not normal depression. This is a severe depression with manic episodes, and I don't think it's conveyed very well if you don't know that already. You know what I'm saying? Like someone that doesn't know a lot about mental health is not going to catch those things. They're going to think exactly like you did. Like, oh, they all know the world's going to end, and this is just like she wants to get married before they die.
Yeah.
But that's not what it is. It's
because she sends him away after they get married.
Well, that's because it's supposed to be she just called it off. Like they didn't finalize it.
So how come they don't show that? It was weird.
Yeah, and he
because
doesn't.
I was sitting here, I'm like, they just got married, and she's sending him away, and so it made me think like they just got married because the world's gonna end just to do it. and but now she just wants to be with her sister.
No, she was just calling it off. She had a switch. It's kind of like bipolar manic is, but something that night set her off, and she just lost it. And that's when they that's at the very end she was like, the star's gone. The next day, I guess, when they're riding the horse, she's like, the star's gone. And then they find out that that they're gonna have a pass by with the planet. So there is something here. There is something with this movie. I really did resonate with some things, but it is weird.
It's just like a smaller scale Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
But way more serious.
Yeah. I mean, it is very well acted all the way around.
Yeah. I really like Kiefer Sutherland's character.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the German dude. Is he German?
Oh, Udo Kier.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Blade.
Because he says she ruined my wedding. I will not look at her.
Yeah, the whole movie.
And then the rest of the movie, he's like this. Anytime she's there, it's fucking hilarious.
Whatever ethnicity he is, German, and he's ultra famous in Germany. Like, one of the most famous people in that entire country.
Yeah.
He just has this striking look to him, but I think he was really famous back in the day. I can't believe I pulled that name out like that. It's really just because of the Game Awards.
Oh yeah, he's in that.
Yeah, the Kojima
game.
Overdose.
The science doesn't science in this movie either.
I like the atmosphere thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's if you don't think about it too hard, it all kind of makes sense. But if something that big got that close to us,
The waves.
the waves would be fucked up. It would pull us off our revolution, I think. Mm-hmm. So it would fuck us up even if it was that close, which it does do a little bit. But it's crazy that when you look this movie up, it says sci-fi horror.
Yeah,
it's
no sci-fi.
It's mostly drama with just sci-fi things happening in the background, and that's just because it's symbolic of what he's trying to capture. But I agree, the movie's not some people think it's a fucking 10. It's not a 10.
This movie's a 10 if this is like a 12-year-old's first time watching a good
art house movie,
a decent art house movie, and they think that this is the best movie of all time.
Yeah. I gave it an 8.
I give it a 6 just because I found zero entertainment out of it.
Yeah,
pretty much. Aside from when Kiefer Sutherland was on screen.
Yeah. So because I dealt with depression and I take medicine for anxiety, I think it just resonated with me, especially some of those that intro scenes where, like the one where she's just being tied down by gray matter.
Oh yeah. That was a weird one.
That's just what it feels like some days. You can't get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
So I really did. I enjoyed the movie enough. I don't think that it's necessarily for everyone. I think it is a niche crowd, and it is uneven, especially because the first half, they don't talk about this planet at all. We just see her unraveling at her wedding, and then the second half is this anxiety-filled, is this planet going to hit us or not? And just doesn't work together.
Yeah. Did you think she gave her son pills and killed her son when he was sleeping throughout the whole thing?
No.
Oh, man, I did. I thought it was going to go that route. I thought that she was going to give her son the pills, and he kill her son peacefully without him knowing, and then the planet was going to pass.
Oh, that'd have been better.
And yeah. And then the dad realized because it was just the mom's scheme to do it. Oh man, that would have been so good.
Yeah, I did want to right there at the end when Claire was like, "Will you sit out on the terrace with me, have a glass of wine?" Why is Kristen Dunst get so pissed off about that?
I don't know. I was wondering that too. But then she gets all mad about it. But then they just sit in the magic cave that she made with the kid.
Yeah, I would have rather sat on the terrace and like she said, got us some wine, maybe ate something,
Yeah,
and enjoyed it.
but yeah, I don't know. I think that's just like her sister's life because her sister married wealthy, and that's how they enjoy their free time. And I don't think that's how she enjoys her free time. So she was like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird movie.
Yeah.
Did your wife watch this movie?
No.
No, mine neither. So an 8 and a 6, I'm down. Just right in a 7.
Yeah. That was fine.
So then on to our series showdown, where we watched The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. This is my first time watching it in this order.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, ever since all 3 Hobbits came out, I watch them in the order like this.
Oh, really? I see. This is my first time, and it's weird, I think. I think that because it's so nostalgia heavy early on for The Lord of the Rings, I don't think it works as well as it should.
I don't know. It kind of does because it's like we get a little introduction to Gollum and how he lost the ring, and then, you're getting snippets that there's something behind the scenes happening, and I think it does work. But
Yeah, maybe it does.
But we know what's coming, so we know
Yeah.
what's happening. But there's I don't know why people hate on these movies so much because of their lighter tone, when it makes sense because Sauron's not yet at the full power to have his looming presence.
Yeah, I literally have in here. It's like this, like the dishes scene is supposed to be, fun and whimsical and like that, because you need to start there so that you can see the gravity of how dark it gets by the end of Return of the King. I think that you need that juxtaposition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't understand why people don't like the lighter tone either. I think
this is what a fantasy movie's tone should be.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't like the action either, because the action's a little goofy too. But I like it.
Yeah, but the action is I like the action too. I have it written down, but the action is just taking like Gimli and Legolas's action from Lord of the Rings and just ramping it up. You have a bunch of dwarves.
Yeah,
that's how they fight.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
It doesn't. So, if you have a bunch of humans, that's not how humans fight. So it's just, yeah.
The CGI is a little rough on some things, like the animals, like the bunnies and
the herons and the orc things.
Yeah.
What are those called?
Wargs.
Wargs.
Yeah.
Wargs. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a little rough, and I think it's super strange that sometimes we'll be like a group of orcs, and the main one, Azog, will be all CGI, and we'll cut to a close up of someone else, and it's like mostly practical. That's a weird choice.
Yeah, but he looks real.
Azog?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, he does look good.
They did a close up on him. I was like, that motherfucker looked like he really there.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
He does look good. It's just like
Smaug looked bad in this movie compared to what he does in the next one.
Yeah,
he looked rough, especially in the where Bilbo's talking about the Erebor, like before the Hobbit, like when Smaug attacks.
Yeah.
They did not spend a lot of time on that one.
No, it's rough in some places. These movies, so a lot of people complain that these get cut up. This got cut up into 3 movies. I like all this extra time because it feels like an adventure.
Yeah.
Like there's little things that would 100% get cut in a normal movie, that we get here just because we have time, and it just feels like you're in Fellowship. If you watch the theatrical cut, it's like they teleport. You know what I'm saying? Like you see them walking, but then they're at somewhere else, and they're somewhere else. Here, you get to like it feels like you're on this journey with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
The movie is gorgeous. Like, they should just play this movie for ads for New Zealand because it's just that fucking pretty.
Yeah.
I really like that the goblins and the orcs don't look the same.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, in the book, they're used interchangeably. It's just, he fucked up, essentially, when he wrote The Hobbit. He used them interchangeably, and then he wanted to, like, change it up, but he couldn't, because that's how it was. So the fact that they were like, no, we're going to make the goblins different, and we're going to have the orcs different, I like that.
Yeah.
Because I like the goblins. They're fucking gross.
They are gross. And the Goblin King's a good character.
Yeah, he is. And Gollum is a fucking delight, as always.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just so good.
Yeah, he looks really good in this, too. Him and Azog both look incredible.
Yeah, he does look good. I love these big sweeping shots when they were in the mine. I don't know if it's a mine, just a goblin cave. And they're like running, and you just see them running through stuff, you know, and they're
Like when
fighting
they're running
people
on the rope bridges and stuff?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because like they do that in the Lord of the Rings, like especially in like Moria and stuff. But there's only a couple shots, and this is like all the time. I could watch a whole movie.
Yeah, I put the action in this movie is like way... People complained about it when it came out, but compared to today's standards of action, freaking fire.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Because it doesn't cut. You're not cutting. We're watching them do all this stuff. And you're just watching a big battle happen. And then it cuts to another angle and you just watch them. And anytime they make a movement, right? In a movie nowadays, you swing something, it's 3 cuts during the one swing. They'll swing, cut, another swing, cut, another swing, cut. You see the whole thing happen.
Yeah.
Which is nice. There's a lot of world building in this movie. Like a lot of just Middle Earth happening. Middle Earth is very prevalent in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I really like, especially like the swords. So there's two aspects. When they go into the Goblin Cave and they find the 3 swords. So we get Gandalf's sword that he has throughout the rest of the Lord of the Rings, and then we get the Goblin Slayer sword for Thorin, and then what is
Sting?
We get Sting for Bilbo, but one, it's the fact that when they find it, and Thorin's like, oh, or Gandalf's like, oh, it's elvish, and Thorin's getting ready to throw it away, and Gandalf's like, you will not find a better blade. It's good. It's an interesting. It's good character building for Thorin when we find out that he kept the sword, because it means that there's a place in him that can forgive the elves for what they did.
At least respect their work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He respects them, even though dwarves are known for their
smithing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good for his character building, because up to that point, he's just like a bitter dwarf, pretty much. And but then
he's a brooder. That's
when they go to Rivendell, and then Elrond is talking about the swords, like these are famous swords, the Goblin Slayer and the whatever, and it's just it really just builds like this. I don't know. It just builds this like Middle Earth thing. It's really cool. Like the fact that these super famous elven weapons are found in a hole right next to Rivendell that the goblins stole from them is crazy. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's like playing a fucking game.
And then when they get to Rivendell, Elrond and Galadriel call Gandalf Mithrandir, which is also great history building, I guess. But that's like for people who know stuff.
That's deep cuts.
Yeah.
I like that. So Gandalf's never very well, like never explained well in the movies because it's just hard to explain what he is, you know.
Yeah.
But I like that when he's talking with Galadriel and he's like, Saruman thinks that power, you know,
Is the most important thing.
yeah, and he's like, I don't think that's what you need. He's like, I don't know why. I just feel like this hobbit can do something, and like that explains him better than anything else in the entire show or the movies, because he influences the world because he's kind of like a higher being, but he doesn't necessarily know the outcome. It's just like a feeling that he has.
Yeah.
You know, he's just like, Bilbo needs to go on this. He doesn't know why. It's obviously because Frodo needs the ring, but they also need to kill Smaug. You know, and it all plays together. But this was the one time I've ever felt that it was like that. You know,
Yeah. Well, it's hard to do it because even he
doesn't
really know.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just like, I just trust my instincts, essentially.
Right.
And Galadriel trusts his instincts too, like implicitly. Like she's a fantastic character.
Yeah. I think that the only part of the movie that I think could use some trimming is the warg attack after the Goblin Cave. I just think it's a little bit long.
It does last a little long.
Yeah, it's
Like,
a
they
lot,
could
a lot
get
of
to
slow mo, a lot of staring, a lot of brooding.
They could get to the final bits of it a lot faster than they do.
Yeah. But that being said, I really do like this movie. I think the Goblin Cave and Gollum boost it out of it being just mediocre, if that makes sense. Because up until, like, all of that, like, before the Goblin Cave is, you know, world building. It feels like you're on an adventure, but it's still not like none of it's like awesome or great. Does that make sense? You know?
Yeah.
But once you get in the Goblin Cave, it is balls to the walls the rest of the movie, and I have a blast.
Yeah, I think there's a, how do I explain this? It's like, it's not taxing. It's almost I don't know. It's, the whole movie is about Bilbo trying to like prove that he is a worthwhile member of this group to Thorin, because after the troll thing, all the other dwarves are on board with Bilbo.
Yeah.
But he's not, and it almost gets a little just a little daunting listening to Thorin constantly belittle Bilbo, and but then at the end of the movie, like, that's what this whole movie is about. It's the end is when Thorin recognizes Bilbo's worth,
Right.
and truly respects him, and that's good, because then in the next movies we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. It's crazy because throughout the whole trilogy, Thorin stays like he's like my least favorite dwarf, and he just stays there the whole time. So I know by the end, it never resonates with me. You know, we'll see maybe if this one changes. But it's just because he's so fucking crabby all the time.
That's what well, that also is I think what I wouldn't say, it's hard to talk about this movie like I feel like I'm saying bad things, but the movie's not bad. It's like we're going off of a Lord of the Rings standard here, which is different. So
I was like, we're nitpicking because we've seen it a bunch.
It hinders the fact that we have 12 dwarves. We only really get any character development from like 4 of them.
Yeah.
And so then that leaves 8 dwarves that are just there. But when you watch Lord of the Rings, every single part of the Fellowship is a character.
Right.
And that we know and that we care about and that have like a pivotal role to play. And so that's why, like, you don't have a lot of characters to care about. Even the 4 dwarves that we do, like, kind of care about, like, not, you're really just caring about Bilbo.
That's true. It's funny. I noticed. I was going to talk about this. They knew that they didn't have the time to deal with all the dwarves, so they had the ones that do matter show up separate from the other dwarves.
Yeah.
So Balin and Dwalin show up, each separate, and then Feely and Keely show up together, and then the rest show up, and then Thorin. So it's like the ones that all show up in a group, just forget about them.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's true.
And Balin's the best, the old one, the wise dwarf.
Oh yeah,
He's
isn't
good.
he the one that's related to
Gimli?
Gimli?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, oh, he's by far the best.
Yeah.
He's so good.
He just plays that old wise character fucking perfect.
Yeah. And he's good moment for his character is when when Thorin wants to give the map, or Thorin doesn't want to give the map to Elrond to see if he could figure it out for him. Mm-hmm. And he tries to stop him. Like Thorin's like, I trust Gandalf, but the old dwarf is like, Thorin, no, like don't do this. And I was like, this is awesome. There's little moments like that are good.
Yeah, it's one of those fantasy things that it's just so ingrained that dwarves don't like elves and vice versa. But I don't really understand it. Like, I know why Thorin doesn't like Legolas's elves. But Elrond and Legolas's elves are not the same.
Yeah, I know.
It's fucking, like, they're not the same, so why does he hate Elrond? Why does he not want Elrond to help?
Yeah, I don't know, because even in... Elrond's very, very friendly with dwarves in the Silmarillion. Like, he has like a dwarven king as a friend.
Yeah, if there was
like a best friend.
If there was one race that Elrond doesn't like, it's humans.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So it's yeah, it is weird.
But I think it's just one of those things that I don't know if it
I
was...
guess because he hates the woodland elves, he doesn't like Elrond's elves either. Because I mean, they're all from the same place. They're just at different. They're at different locations in Middle Earth, as opposed to their eternal life of light across the ocean, whatever that is. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I forget what it's called too.
The only elf in Middle Earth that has experienced that land is Galadriel, by the way.
That's for real?
Yes, she's the only one old enough to have lived there before it started going crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Trying to see here. Oh, that's all I have. What did you end up giving this?
8.5.
8.5. I gave it a 7.5.
Dang, son.
I think it's reasonable.
I thought it was entertaining. I like really like Middle Earth lore. Middle Earth lore is so thought out that it's like, obviously I don't read, so I don't know all these other fantasy novels that haven't been made into movies.
Right.
Which I'm sure some of them are like crazy expansive, but the fact that like I just get points like the fact that their map, when it's like showing all the elven language, like that someone could really read that, like it's a real language.
Yeah.
Just all that stuff just was crazy to me.
Yeah.
But
there's not really a whole lot of fantasy worlds that are as thought out as this, you know?
Yeah. The only one is a sci-fi world, and that's Dune. Really. But that's just because the guy who wrote Dune, he was a... he was like a herbologist or something. He understood how plants and plant and animal ecology worked, and so he could make planets that would really have atmospheres, like realistic things. Mm-hmm. So all the animals and stuff in Dune are well thought out like that, which is interesting.
Did your wife watch this one?
No.
Really?
Yeah, no, because I had to watch these all pretty much last night. She was falling asleep in The Boy and the Heron, so she just went to bed. And I watched The Hobbit last night without her.
So you good with meeting right in the middle at an 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I've been giving a lot of 9s out. I mean, we've been watching good movies, but it felt weird to be giving out such high numbers all the time. Because we have Sunshine a 9,
Yeah.
I gave
Well, we're also choosing our movies.
yeah, that's true.
So it's yeah.
All right. So on to the main movie, Godzilla Minus One.
Godzilla.
Yeah, speaking of that, we watched it subtitled. They say Godzilla now. They don't say Gojira.
It's like a mixture.
Yeah.
It's like a Godzilla.
It's weird, though. I like it more when it's Gojira.
Yeah.
But anyway, what'd you think?
I really like this movie a lot. There's a part of this movie. Hold on. Let me think. I'm trying to think about not spoiling anything. It's like, this movie's great. It's very emotional. Very historically, like, it's fun. I like the setting. We're in a post World War II Japanese setting, and it's very interesting to watch, especially with the main character and what he is and how he's treated.
Yeah.
He did great, by the way. He was really good.
Yeah.
Man, it's hard to talk about.
It is hard to talk about, and because we saw it in the theater, we couldn't live notes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to start bringing a notepad to the theater because right when we got out of the movie, I started fucking writing down notes just so I could remember stuff.
yeah. Dude, when we saw Boy and Heron. So you could obviously tell if it was like a couple who's there to really watch the movie, and we had this couple sitting right in front of us, and the girl was there to watch the movie. The guy was not. But the second that it subtitled out instead of dubbed, phone out. The whole movie, he just had his phone out scrolling through stuff.
And he was like, "This fucking woman
he's
better
like,
put
"What?
out, I ain't ever going on a date with this."
He's like, "I
woman."
gotta read? What are you talking about?" But yeah,
I think the characters all around are like
great.
Yeah, they're really well done.
Yeah. I like Godzilla as a villain.
I like him way more as a villain.
Yeah.
I don't understand this hero. Like, I get the hero thing just because if two monsters are gonna fight each other, you have to have that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that was the one thing that pissed me off about Godzilla 2014 is I thought we were having a villain Godzilla, and they went straight into no, he's the good one.
Mm-hmm.
But like, this is how I like it. I want him to tear shit up and fuck shit up, and people to be scared of him because he's scary.
Yeah, he is scary.
The CGI, though uneven, is pretty impressive, especially on the budget that they had.
Yeah.
Because the budget was, what I read, $15 million.
Yeah, which is astronomically impressive considering how he looks.
Yeah, like that's bonkers.
He looks really great. His movement is robotic.
He's a little wooden.
Yeah.
Especially in the torso area.
Mm.
And
like swimming, he's just like a stationary kind of. His head is, at least. He's just like...
Yeah, I kind of like that, though, because it's like, it's kind of crocodilian.
Yeah, it was scary, kind of, watching him.
Without going into spoilers, this movie has the best plan and the most cinematic experience to kill Godzilla.
Crazy. Because
the original one, they're just like, we're going to go drop a bomb on him.
Mm-hmm.
And like the 1998 one, they're like, we're just going to shoot him a lot. Mm. This one is like a fucking plan, and it plays out in this cinematic, action-oriented way, and it was awesome.
Yeah. I'm getting things mixed up with Monarch, but it's fine. There's something special about this movie. I can talk about this. I know why this movie's so special, because we got out of this movie and we were like talking about it, and we were like, "Dang, this movie's good," but I don't know why it's good. And it's because they follow this old film rule that nobody follows anymore, except for older directors. Is that they wrote it, in a way where you do not need... It could be a silent movie, and you would lose nothing.
That's true.
You could watch this movie and understand everything that happens just by the visuals. Literally everything.
Yep. Even the plan.
Yeah,
They have visuals for the plan.
Every aspect of it. I've broke it down in my brain, everything. And films aren't made like that anymore. But back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, every movie was like that. That was a standard rule. That is what you do. For a long time. And it's crazy. Like when you watch it, you'll understand.
Yeah. And the reason that is a rule is because exposition sucks. And if you do it like this, and it is harder to write like that, that's why no one does it. Because you're going through rewrites. You know, like you're rewriting that fucking thing, and you're perfecting that script. And that's why they stopped doing that, because it's just easier to have a character be like, oh yeah, Godzilla's following this path, doing this, 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 and this. But like, that's not fun.
Yeah.
You know, that's not cinematic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without going into spoilers, I do want to just say that he is probably the scariest, or at least the second scariest Godzilla's ever been. And he is gnarly when he comes. Like that first attack that he does on a big city is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like I got chills watching that scene.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But without going into spoilers, it's kind of hard to talk about because it is a very it's an emotional movie, and there's like the main character, what he is and what he symbolizes is intricate to the rest of the movie, and it's hard to talk about any of it without telling you about it.
Yeah.
So we'll just give our score and we'll go into spoilers. What'd you give it?
A 9.
I gave it a 9 because it's good. It is that good. So next week, we're going to do a Christmas movie for our rewind. We're going to do Home Alone.
Yeah, quite excited about it. I haven't seen Home Alone in a few years, I think.
Yeah, I like Home Alone. I might watch both, honestly, just because. And when I say both, because
just the Macaulay Culkin ones.
those are the only two that exist. I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
me. My wife was like,
watching Home Alone 6.
You know, my wife was like, well, why don't we watch Home Alone 3 and 4? They're good too. I was like, no, they're not fucking good. You shut your mouth.
Yeah. We're being topical too. Macaulay Culkin just got his Hollywood Star Walk of Fame like last week.
Yeah. And then we will be watching The Desolation of Smaug for the series Showdown, which is my favorite of the Hobbit movies for sure.
Yeah. Oh, we should address because we said we were going to do 2 Lord of the Rings at once. We later on in the week we decided we were still kind of in our October rush mode.
Yeah.
And we were like, why are we still in that rush mode? We have all the time in the world. So we just took it back to 1.
Yeah.
We can just chill with the series, and that way we get more in depth, which is kind of what we want with this podcast, is real in depth talks about the movies. Because if you do 2 at a time, it's just...
Yeah, if we would have done 2, we would have done a lot more comparing, and I would have shit on the first movie a lot more and wanted to get to Desolation of Smaug.
Yeah.
You know? And in this way, we really talked through it.
Yeah.
So I think it worked better like that. So yeah, we'll do The Desolation of Smaug, and then for our main movie, we will be watching Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Boom, boom, boom.
And you should be excited.
I know. I'm probably going to watch probably like a 30-minute recap YouTube video
Of all the other movies.
Yeah.
You don't really need it.
I'm still going to.
Yeah, so I've seen Dial of Destiny. I went to the theaters by myself because no one wanted to see it with me.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And I did score it on the podcast and talked briefly about it. But because...
It took forever to get to streaming.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, because it came out in July, I think.
Yeah.
But I didn't really talk about it because...
You told me this is going to be my favorite one.
It's going to be your favorite one, and there is there are spoilers. Like the end of this, do not spoil this movie. Do not don't accidentally find something about the end of this movie because it is awesome.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, so that's what we'll be doing. Thanks for listening. We come out on podcast and on YouTube every Monday.
Yep.
And we have a TikTok now.
Yeah, it's all two guys and some movies.
Two guys and some movies.
TWO, because you can't put numbers in your ats.
Interesting. That's dumb.
Yep. I guess, yeah.
Because otherwise it would have been two guys and some movies 69. You know?
69 420. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so everyone that's dipping out for Godzilla Minus One, spoilers, which if you haven't seen it, you definitely should dip out because the movie is good.
Yeah.
Go watch it, come back, finish the fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Everyone that has seen it, we will go into spoilers now. So, the main character, the reason why everything kind of ties into him is he was a kamikaze pilot that chickened out right at the last second. And because Japan, especially old school Japan, is very honor driven, they treat him like a pariah the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And they like really look down on him. Like there's one person berates him, being like, "You're the reason we lost the war."
Yeah, you're a coward. People like you are the reason we lost, and blah blah blah.
And as it goes on, he gets a job clearing mines from the sea around Japan, and he's working with these other dudes. One of them's a scientist, and like these other characters are like eventually tell him like, no one should have to die for their government. The government handled it wrong. And like that's what this movie's about. It's like about how pre-war Japan didn't care for their soldiers and they were using honor as like a way to get them to do what they wanted, and that it shouldn't be like that, you know?
Yeah.
But even with these other characters constantly telling him that, he still has this guilt that weighs on him, and he still wants to die for his country, essentially.
Yeah. Well, I think more so it was that, but then the first attack on the island that he lands on with the crew, so it's like a double. So he chickened out on the kamikaze. The crew that's working on his plane where he landed to get it fixed because he said his plane was broken, realizes that there was nothing wrong with it, and they insinuate that he just chickened out. But then Godzilla shows up.
Well, little Godzilla, pre-radiation Godzilla.
Yeah, he's way smaller, and they were like, "You're the only one who knows how to pilot the ship. Go get on the plane. Go get on the plane and shoot him with the 20mm gun." And he gets in the plane and he
chickens out again.
Yeah, he gets too nervous and doesn't shoot because they start shooting at him, and then they go attack. He attacks them for shooting at him, so he's kind of just hides.
Yeah, so Godzilla kills all but one of them and him.
Yep.
So he feels like all of their lives are on him, and then all this pressure from everyone else, and it all just kind of builds from there. He takes in this woman and this child because he feels guilt, and they become like this familial unit, but like not a traditional Japanese familial unit. It's all very
like the kid's not even her kid.
Yeah.
She's just, she's never had a kid. It's not her kid. They're not married, but they're just all living together, and he's supporting them with his job.
Yeah, and then when Godzilla finally does attack, it just happens to be in the city where she's this woman that's living with him is working. Mm-hmm. So he runs off to save her, and we get to see Godzilla attack the city, and oh my god, it is fucking awesome.
Yeah, his the effect of his blast is insane.
Yeah. Because, like, in this one, not only do his fins bulge out as he's like gaining energy. Then they slam in.
Yeah, they
which
slam
is
in when
awesome.
he shoots. But
Well,
he sucks radiation from the air into his mouth. He's just it's so cool.
And then when it hits, it's like a blast.
It's an
atomic
nuclear
blast.
Bomb.
And we get the cloud and everything, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And she pushes him out of the way of the blast and gets hit with it, and we assume she's dead the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. So then now now it's personal. Godzilla and him 1v1 basically. That's what he thinks.
Yeah. So in the movie, America and Russia are still
it's
still at war, and so the government is like, hey, we can't do anything major about Godzilla because the Americans or the Russians might think that we're planning something.
Yeah.
And so it is up to the population to help figure out an idea to save Godzilla. Or to not save him, to kill Godzilla. And that's kind of where this movie goes.
Yeah. So then the plan basically is they're going to sink his ass and get him into the deep pressure. And if that doesn't kill him, they're going to raise him real quick so he depressurizes.
Yeah, and kind of like explodes.
Right. And they do all that. Like, obviously there's hiccups here and there because it's a movie and it's fun and exciting. But then the main character, the kamikaze pilot, is going to fly his plane, which has a explosive in it, right into my man's mouth because they know that he's at least a little bit vulnerable from the inside.
Yeah. From a previous attack, Godzilla had attacked. They found him in the water one more time, and they dropped a mine in his mouth.
Yeah.
And they blew up half of his face, and they found out he could regenerate.
Yeah, he's crazy strong in this movie.
Yeah.
But the one guy that could fix the plane was the one that was still alive from when he was on the island at the beginning of the movie.
Who blamed him for all of his co-workers' death.
Yeah. And that guy even forgave the kamikaze pilot, and was like, I put in a ejector seat so you can eject right at the last second. Yeah. And he decides that it's better to live than to have this government honor, and that's what the whole theme of the movie is about. Mm-hmm. And it's good. It really is good. Emotional.
Yeah. Even the scene, I saw someone filmed it, and I still got to watch the scene again on TikTok. And his friends on the boat yelling at him, like, don't do it, like, whatever, you're crazy. And yeah. It's just very powerful.
Yeah, it really is. And then we get the stinger right at the end, which is just, oh God, it really puts this movie to the stratosphere.
Yeah.
We find out that the woman, I forget her name.
Yeah, me too. The one we presume died in the Godzilla
blast
attack
was found alive, and he goes and visits her in the hospital
with the kid.
Yeah, and they're like gonna live happily ever after, and the movie fades kind of, and we get the shot comes in on her neck, and there's a little spot right here, and I looked it up afterwards.
It's pretty big.
It's that's what radiation sickness looks like. So even though she lived and it seemed like they were gonna be happy, she's gonna die from the radiation from the blast.
Yeah, so Godzilla still won.
Yeah, it's obviously very reminiscent of when the bombs dropped, because a lot of the survivors ended up dying still.
Yeah.
And that's how the movie. I mean, and then we get a shot of a chunk of Godzilla in the ocean regenerating.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends.
Yeah. And people presume. This is crazy. People are saying that they think it's going to evolve and not just reform into the Godzilla we saw. I think it's going to do something different.
Interesting.
I don't know why they think that, but
yeah, I mean, I know that this is supposed to be a shared universe, so I did have a little section for sequel ideas. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be traditional sequel and just have a second monster, or do you think they're going to do more of this bad Godzilla first? Because this Godzilla, this chunk, if it reforms and it has this Godzilla's memories, maybe it's like, I don't know. Maybe people aren't so bad, even though they blew me up. I don't know.
Or Godzilla could just attack again and make a mecha Godzilla.
Yeah.
To fight him off. I'm trying to see what I have in notes. No, we've said everything I have in my notes. Oh, the sound.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So normally in a the American Godzillas or whatever, you hear the entire roar. They chose to blow out. His roar is so loud the speakers or the sound blows out, or I guess peaks, so where you can't hear the big bulk of the roar, and then you just get the hint of the sound at the end when he's done. It's awesome.
It really is
so
awesome.
cool.
The sound of the movie is incredible, and the music's good too. A lot of it is older themes that they messed around with.
Yeah.
But it is fucking awesome. And it is hard to explain how it blows out. It's so loud that you can't hear it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to explain. It's like if you have if you have a microphone that peaks, which I know most people probably won't understand what that means. But
yeah, it's so loud that you only hear the higher pitched stuff, and then when it comes back in, you hear it all again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It is awesome though.
Yeah, it was really good.
And I really do like his design in this.
He's scary.
Yeah,
but he's scary, but also very traditional.
Yeah, he looks like if you took the original suit and made it look like an actual living monster. I know, his fins. I like when his back dorsal fins aren't symmetrical and they're all jaggedy.
Yeah.
And they're like that in this. I like that his teeth are always out in this. He doesn't have lips. They're just like a crocodile. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of...
He has a mean face.
Yeah, he does have a mean face. And a lot of the movie is in the ocean, and it's with his head, right there, like a crocodile. It's very scary.
Yeah, the scene I was talking about with the mine is very Jawsy.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie has a lot of Jaws in it, which isn't a bad thing. Because, they've never been able to make killing Godzilla make sense, but also exciting. And this one makes sense, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
Because, they have to wrap Godzilla up in this, with this gas so that they can drop him. So they need these two boats to swim around him. And, they even make that exciting.
Yeah.
And it's it's impressive that they did this, you know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. If we gave it a 9, it is that good.
It really is. It was so good that I have a friend at work, older guy. His parents owned some theaters, and so he grew up just watching a ton of movies for free. And I came back and I was like, hey, because I talk to him about movies all the time, and I was like, you need to go see Godzilla Minus One. He's like, really? Are you serious? Oh, yeah. And I'm like, yes, I'm dead serious.
Yeah, I almost gave it a 9.5, which means it's better than the original, because I just gave the original a 9. Yeah. But I was like, I can't do it. But it is that good. It's really fucking impressive.
Yeah.
Did your wife have anything on this one?
No.
No?
She really liked it as well.
Yeah.
I think she didn't give it the highest score as we did. I remember I asked her score, and I think it was a 8 or something.
That makes sense.
But she's not she hasn't seen as many Godzilla movies as... She's never seen any old stuff.
None? So it's she's just with the new stuff?
Pretty much, yeah.
Has she ever seen old King Kongs?
I don't know.
Because,
I've never seen... I don't know. She might have seen Peter Jackson's King Kong, but...
My wife's never seen a King Kong movie, so she thinks that the King Kong movies are like Godzilla. Or like these new movies. I'm like, no, you don't understand. The King Kong movies are incredible. Yeah. I always say it's like how people think Alien and Predator are like similar quality that they don't really know. You know, people that don't know.
Yeah.
But Aliens are like fucking amazing movies, and Predators are action movies.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Did you see that there's a Predator in Deadpool 3?
What?
They got a... Someone has a picture of Ryan Reynolds in his Deadpool costume and Wolverine in his yellow costume talking to a fully made up Predator.
Because there's going to be all the Fox stuff. It's
I
going to be
freaking guess so.
That's funny.
And he was huge too.
Huh. No, I'm trying to not watch. I know, like, he had to come out and ask people to quit putting spoilers on the internet because it's so bad.
Yeah. And then he spoiled something else in that.
Did he?
Yeah, he's like, I'll give you a spoiler and then just take that and just don't spoil anything else. I don't remember what it was, though.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, so, yeah, next week, Home Alone, The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug, and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, and we are watching all of the, like, Hobbit and Desolation of Smaug do not have extended editions, at least available to us. Only 5 Armies does. And then obviously all 3 Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So we're going to watch the extended editions when they're available.
Yeah, I think that the extended's only a couple minutes for those first 2. And I think that may be why it's not on there. Because it's probably nothing new. It's probably just extended scenes, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be watching all of them that we can. So yeah, thanks for listening. Podcast services, YouTube, TikTok, 2 guys in some movies.
Yes, 2 guys in some movies, formerly known as Reels.
Yes, formerly known as Reels. Yeah, thanks for listening. Hopefully see you next week. That's a wrap.